payment of statutory allocations, right? And the push, for local government autonomy in Nigeria, if we're going historically, it dates back, into time. But one of such times where we can say that it became very, very visible would be within the 1999 Constitution, which mandated a democratically elected local government system. And state governors have historically controlled funds meant for local governments, and that has led to underdevelopment and mismanagement. Now, the National Union of Local Government Employees, that is the NULGE, NULGE, and other stakeholders have advocated for direct payment of statutory allocations to local government. And if you also want to look into some of the issues, in fact, you might also want to consider the fact that just before 1999 or the 1999 Constitution era, you would understand that even in the 1950s, there were talks about local government, autonomy in Nigeria. However, it was until the 1976, we saw local government reform, that local government gained some autonomy. Yet, local governments, were still, grounded, especially in terms of creating an impact to satisfy the purpose for which they exist or they were created in the first place. Hence, the move by the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, through the AGF for a full autonomy for local government is a plus. However, with the attitude of governors fighting this autonomy at the time, what hope is there for the masses, especially when you consider that 16 state governors are challenging and faulting the very existence and the creation of the EFCC and the ICPC. But does it also wonder you, are you in wonderment with regards to why the mention of the EFCC, in this? Well, the federal government announced plans to commence direct payment of statutory allocations to local government by November 2024. Now, that followed a Supreme Court ruling that governors cannot manage, neither can they withhold local government funds. Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has been put in place to monitor budget performance to prevent misappropriation. If you also recall that when this whole back and forth was still ongoing about the entire local government autonomy thingy, when the federal government through the AGF had gone to the Supreme Court to challenge, the state governors and all of that of the federation seeking for autonomy for the local governments, one of the things that came on the front burner, which you said, was that it doesn't just stop, or it shouldn't just stop at saying that we are constituting a local government that is autonomous. That what we should also begin to talk about is, should it go through that the local governments get autonomy, we would also find ways whereby there would be efficiency, sufficiency, and monitoring and evaluation of the processes, so that way we can robustly say that we've been able to take out the hands of the state governors in the affairs of local government administration, especially their funding, and allow the local government chairman, to indeed reach into these funds and appropriate it adequately across the local government areas found within the respective states. Right. So that is what, has brought about the need for, the EFCC to closely monitor the allocations, which of course should start from November of 2024. And this is marking a very significant milestone. I mean, especially in the implementation of local government autonomy. Now, this development also follows a Supreme Court ruling that governors can no longer control funds meant for local councils, right? And the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission will also closely monitor the budget performance of local governments to prevent misappropriation of funds. Now, some of the key speeches by the Supreme Court also follows where the Supreme Court had ruled that governors cannot manage or withhold local government funds, declaring it illegal and unconstitutional. And about the direct payments, the Accountant General of the Federation will pay local government allocations directly to their accounts. And with regards to EFCC monitoring, the EFCC will track expenditures of the 774 local government, chairmen to ensure accountability. And of course, there will be an implementation timeline where payment is scheduled to commence at the November Federal Account Allocation Committee distribution. Right? Well, let's also indulge you with the fact that guest is already standing by via phone call, as he's in the person of the very comrade Gerald Okachi. He's a human rights activist, a public affairs commentator, and social analyst. Comrade Gerald, welcome aboard to the discourse this morning.
Oh yes, a very good morning to you as a wonderful listeners on the best radio station in FCT and Nigeria by extension.
Well, thank you. By your standard, thank you. We appreciate that in that regard. But let's talk about these issues. Comrade. I mean, we've been if you recall, there was a time we were speaking about the push for local government autonomy, and finally it has come. And even though quite a number of people have reserved skepticisms regarding, the workability, or the feasibility of the local governments working outside of the control of the state governors or the state government. Others have also said it is a welcome development. It is a step in the right direction, especially for this administration. And just recently, we have seen where the Supreme Court is now there is a statement that is in place about having the EFCC to monitor the funds, the allocations, the processes, and all of that will be going on, within the local government to ensure sustainability, to ensure accountability, and all. But one question comes to mind. Should we constitute a body outside the EFCC to monitor and supervise these activities of local government in Nigeria? Or is the EFCC enough? Why am I asking this question? And I'm sure the listener would also attune himself or herself to this question. Why? Because just recently, we've also seen the battle that the EFCC, is having to engage, where about, is it 19 now at first? 19 state governors have, dragged the EFCC to the Supreme Court, saying that, contesting the EFCC's viability and existence, in the first place. I think about 3 states have withdrawn from that suit, at the moment. But I think leaving it to either 15 or 16 states, still, high about, dragging the EFCC, and probably possible dissolve of not just the EFCC and the ICPC. And to have the EFCC again being seen as those who would monitor and supervise activities of local governments in Nigeria, what would be your take on it?
Well, to talk about the local government autonomy that we all, majority of Nigerians, well-reasoning Nigerians have given the federal government thumbs up on, on autonomy of the local government that they took to court at the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, and yes, obtain a judgment in favor of full autonomy. The benefits, cannot be overstretched because we have had local government autonomy in the past. Even before the independence and even after independence, before the Nigeria run into crisis, which ranges from military taking over, stopping civilian, and the other challenges we have faced up until 1999. But then, if you look at the benefits of local government autonomy, you look at the independence to make decisions on policies, budgeting, and operations without excessive oversight from either state governors or any higher authority. The benefits are so numerous that one can only, appreciate the Attorney General and the federal government. One of the benefits one can, experience if we truly have this autonomy that we have been preaching for, because what we have today cannot be called autonomy of the local government. We are state independent electoral commissions, organizes kangaroo elections. We are any state that is a particular party is in control of, we sweep the entire exercise, making it look like abuse of electoral process, making it look like effort in futility by other parties to participate. You understand? I think it's not just EFCC coming to monitor the allocations of funds of finances of the local government, or demanding for accountability and transparency. No, it goes beyond EFCC. Currently, we have a lot of fantastic institutions and laws that can put check and balances with regards to how local government spent their allocations of money they generated. One of them is not just EFCC. We also have ICPC there. Right. We have NFIU. We have Nigerian Police. We have even civil society organization. That even my own organization, Initiative Against Human Rights Abuse and Torture, is working hard to establish our presence in the 704 local governments so that we'll be able to follow monthly allocations and the budgets of each local government to see that there's thorough and good implementations of whatever that is being sent to them. But what we are seeing today is a different thing. You see the moves by many state governors, trying to outsmart Supreme Court judgment. One of those governors that honestly I felt bad about, especially with his level of education, is the governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo. Trying to twist the judgment with regards to whatever he calls modernization of such autonomy, making the state assembly, who we see as a pendant, I'm trying to find a polite word because it's on the public.
Are you there? Well, anyways, we'll get back with you in a short bit. But yeah, I mean, the guest has spoken, consistently about the need for proper monitoring of these processes. Well, hello, are you there? Are you there? Okay.
Are you there?
Yes, we can hear you now. At some point, we lost your voice.
Okay. Yeah. Like I was saying, the laws they are making, if we do not put in check and stop it, is that local government authorities, especially local government chairmen, are mandated to return over 80% of their allocations given to them within 48 hours of receiving such 18. That is 2 days. Claiming that they are creating a board to manage such accounts, that the state government will also put their own money. I think this simply defines the fears of the state governors, which is loss of financial control. You understand? Right. State governors are afraid that they will lose financial control of the local government. Direct access to this fund, or potential reducing their financial controls. And they also fear of reduced political influence. Because of this, autonomous local government may reduce the political influence of most of these governors within local jurisdictions. So, and another thing I think most of these governors are afraid of is patronage and resource allocations. In system where patronage is common, governors might oppose these efforts, like we've seen in the Professor Charles Soludo, because it diminishes the ability to appoint allies to key local government positions, which can weaken their control over local political networks. You look at the policy discrepancies, where governors may, fear that it could disrupt statewide planning or lead to inconsistent policies across different local government areas, making statewide governance and administration more complex. The fear also, the fear of those governors includes the accountability and transparency that we have seen over time, that many of the governors are struggling to account most of the things that are being given to them. You understand? They fear economic and development control. They fear power centralization and so many other things. You understand? It doesn't tell well. Now, talking about the benefits that we stand to gain with this autonomy to local government, they includes improved responsiveness, like we have seen in the security. Any state, any local government that has full autonomy can manage its security issues because they have the locals. They know the nook and crannies of those areas. They understand and address the specific needs and priorities of their communities, leading to policies and programs that are more relevant and effective for local residents. They have efficient resource allocation, that's based on local needs and priorities, ensuring funds are directed where they will have the most impact, rather than being subject to broad mandates from either state governors or higher authorities. It enhances accountability, where officials are directly accountable to their constituents, which can foster transparency and encourage governments to be more responsible in decision making. It also helps, encourages innovation and flexibility, where the local government can, experiment with new ideas, initiatives tailored to their communities, allowing them to innovate and adopt more readily than centralized authorities that might influence whatever they are doing. You look at economic development, where it will quicken designing strategies that attract businesses, create jobs, and enhance local infrastructure in ways that suit their specific and economic landscapes. You look at the cultural and social relevance, where this local government can create policies that align with the unique cultural and social and environmental aspects of their communities, preserving local identities and addressing local social issues more effectively. Now, it reduces bureaucracy. Where most of the challenges we face today is bureaucratic bottleneck. You understand? You often reduce bureaucratic red tapes, speeding up processes such as business licensing, zoning approvals, and public service, which can enhance economic growth and community satisfaction. You look at the strengthening of democracy, where it encourages citizens to participate in governance, fostering a strong democratic culture by empowering people to have a say in decisions that affect their day-to-day lives. So the benefits are so numerous that one cannot finish counting. Yeah. So, and these are some of the fears these governors are afraid of.
Well, whilst we are talking about the benefits, we were talking. Quite a number of Nigerians believe that there will be quite a number of benefits that will come with a local government autonomy in the true sense of the word. Let me cast your mind to something that had happened last Tuesday, where in one of the national dailies, it was shown that no fewer than 164 local governments, in 8 states, were yet to conduct elections and may have their federal allocation seized by the federal government, and that was which will be in line with the court's ruling. But however, latest update as at Sunday has it that the NULJ chairman stated that the issue has been resolved and that payment now is scheduled for November into the federal accounts allocation committee distribution right there. Now, the issue now is that there are talks that monies would be sent now directly to the local government itself, and it has brought about some thoughts from the place of the challenges, which of course you've enumerated, of the local government, financial independence, right, or independence it will lead to, lack of accountability, of course, and all, some of the challenges that will come, ineffective, service delivery and all of that. But it brings to mind the question, will direct payments ensure local governments manage resources effectively? Will it?
I think just like what I have said, we have seen many governors, trying to play smart, which I do not see smartness in it, if not being mischievous in the judgment. I make example of the Anambra State governor, enacting a law through the state assembly, mandating all the local government. You see what is happening? A situation where they organize election and all the people they appointed as or they nominated as candidates are the people that will certainly emerge, meaning that governors want to ensure control. Now, they are putting a legal framework that will enable them to still have control of the resources that are going to local government. For example, that's Anambra, for example. If we don't stop it and put a serious stake on it, other state governors will emulate it, and it poses danger to our democracy. You understand? A situation you are telling a local government chairman you are using a legal tool to remit 80% of whatever that has been pushed to him or to the local government within 48 hours. You know what that tells? And I see that situation where you have godfather and godson fighting will certainly be the order of the day in no distant time, because those that we are aided to be local government chairman can only do that within 1, 2, 3, 6 months, and people will come on their neck demanding accountability, and they will be unable to give answers. They will renege from such thing. It becomes what we are seeing either in Rivers State, Wike and Fubara, or other states where you see godfather make somebody what he is, and at the end of the day, the person fighting back. And you see some mischievous and hallelujah singer, praise singers will come to begin to claim that the person is not grateful. So you see, all of these are posing danger. I think the better way we can truly have a true and independent autonomy is if we can allow either Independent National Electoral Commission to organize these elections. Because there's no way a true independent electoral commission that organizes the election will organize the election. You see one local party sweeping all the elective processes. It's not possible. It's not possible. You understand? Right. Now, you see what is happening now. Even our law act makes it clear that before you commence any election, the Electoral Act as of 2022, you must give a specific days of notice, at least 100 days of notice when it comes to local government. But in this situation, we are not having it. Some of the notices is not up to 70 days. You understand? And they are hiding under this judgment, whereas even Attorney General of the Federation have come to debunk it, that there's no such thing that mandate that you must organize the election within 90 days. And that is why maybe you see some of these 8 states that have not organized election still taking their time to plan. So it's a victory that is halfway, because there's no perfect decision or perfect judgment or perfect organization, as the case may be. So it's a work in progress. Now that we are trying to make progress, and we continue to see this guy to trying to shortcut the progress, we will fight against it. Because what it simply means, one of the fears of those governors is that once this money are directed to the local government, those allocations are directly paid to the local government, you will see that many states will be receiving less than 1 billion naira at the end of the month. Majority of the states will receive less than 1 billion naira at the end of the month. Now, some of the security votes they are getting that runs in billions, that they even struggle to account for, you cannot even hold them liable for it, will also be slashed. If a governor is collecting, for example, 2 billion naira monthly as a security vote, it will be slashed, at least cut across the local government, so that they have their own security vote. So some of these that they are afraid of, those influences where they see themselves as demigod or semi-god, as the case may be, is being reduced.
Right. Well,
so these are the case.
Yeah. Well, the EFCC boss, Laolukoyede, has said that the EFCC itself has expanded its presence and coverage across the country, and that vowing that any local government official who misappropriated funds would be apprehended and prosecuted. prosecuted. In fact, he says that the wisdom of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, who is a SAN, in initiating the action cannot be faulted. But we have seen that in the process, the governors have tried to delay the implementation of having these funds get to the local governments themselves. Meanwhile, the Nulge president in Edo State, Dauda Clifford, said that the implementation of payments to local government accounts will take off in November. He also said that state governors had asked for 3 months to begin the implementation of the payments, which will elapse at the end of October. In fact, in his words, he said, let us wait to the end of November and see if the allocation will be paid directly to the account of the local government itself.
The truth is that only EFCC can now monitor the 734 local governments. What is their staff strength? EFCC, one word or the other, partly a part of police. What is their staff strength? It requires collaboration of all stakeholders. It's not just EFCC. You understand? Our own organization will be sending in letters demanding all allocations once it commences of the 704 local government, from the Minister of Finance to allocation to the committees set up. You understand? Yeah. And we spend other well-meaning organizations to do that, so that you'll be able to follow the money. So you'll be able to ensure that dividends of democracy are seen in the local. You will see how Nigeria will develop rapidly in the next 10 years if we truly maintain this. You understand? It will no longer be where governors will decide what to do and begin to do elephant projects, or some governors will just focus on one area.
But let me ask you something.
Let
me ask you something, comrade. Do you not see, as much as you're seeing a future development, for the grassroots through this local government autonomy, do you not see that there might be impending wars and rivalry between states and local governments, such whereby there'll be a feud that might also destabilize the communities themselves?
Certainly there will, because go and mark it. It's not a prediction or prophecy, but I'm telling you what will happen. Once we have true autonomy, because what we have now is partial autonomy. Once we have true autonomy, where the local government are allowed to make policy, decide for themselves what works for their local government, together with the councillors, believe me, you will be surprised to see some local governments are performing their state governors. That is a sure. You will see many local governments at performing a sitting governor.
But isn't that supposed to make the sitting governor also wake up? Isn't that positive?
Well, your guess is as good as mine. You understand?
Right.
In this, especially the set of leaders we have today, many of them are always afraid of any healthy rivalry. They only want to be the biggest man in the city, the biggest man in the state, the most respected man. You just saw what happened a few days ago on Sunday when a House of Rep member, he see himself even above Inspector General of Police. He see himself above even the office of the citizen that elect him, that pays him with the taxpayers' money. If House of Rep member can do that, how much more what governors can do?
Well,
we have seen in a video where an affair went to lead a prayer. Governor asked his aide to slap him and take him out of the place. You see a lot of abuse of power, and with this autonomy, most of these things will reduce.
Okay, well, let's
it
say
will
that
certainly reduce.
Yes.
But the good thing is that local government chairmen, they don't have immunity like the state governors.
Okay.
Meaning that if you are found wanting immediately, petitions can be raised on your head.
All right, I want you to I want you to save that thought. I want you to save that thought. Let's just go pay some bills. We'll be right back in a short bit, right? Well, it is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Keep it locked. Don't go away.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
I suppose it was inevitable.
Eagles 102.3.
Have you heard of the latest car maintenance, overhaul and repair service center in Abuja?
Oh, wait a minute.
BB Empire Motor Services Limited is the place. We offer a wide range of services which include full engine repair, brakes and discs, lubrication, industrial spare parts fabrication, digital diagnosing, injector and rotor servicing, wheel balancing alignment, vulcanizing, spare parts of all cars, car checker, recovery of vehicles, AC servicing and repairs of all kinds of cars. You can visit us today at a state-of-the-art multi-digital workshop located at plot 1374 Cadastral Zone C16 along Julius Berger Road, Idu Industrial District, Abuja. You can also call us on 080-6433-3100 or 090-1066-0869. BB Empire Motor Services Limited, the solution for your car needs and services.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
My people, this way they have my area, eh?
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from the gutters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG who? Without me, you would have been nobody. But
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, on I Wish I Knew radio drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and kick human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew radio drama, brought to you by MICAT in partnership with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and funded by the Embassy of Denmark in Nigeria.
You are about to experience orgasm.
It's exactly 34 minutes gone past the hour of 9 on the AM side, and we're still talking politics and current affairs on the Prog Show, Eagles Outlook, right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And yes, we are looking at the topical issue which borders around local government autonomy in Nigeria, and of course the part that concerns the direct payment of statutory allocations. Why is there so much noise, coming from that, just because monies will be paid to the local governments directly, and the timeline would be for November. And according to our resource person in the person of Comrade Gerald Okachi, who is a human rights activist, public affairs commentator, and social analyst, this will indeed, allow for some progress and development strides, to begin to surface. I think he said in the next, is it 10 years now, if I'm not mistaken? And I don't know if you're sharing the same thoughts. Do you also see to it that this will come to fruition, especially the aspect where the EFCC is been designated to monitor and supervise the funding process after which such transfer has been made to the local government, just to ensure equity and justice, to ensure transparency and accountability, to ensure sustainability, and to ensure that there will be no sort of fraudulent activity and control by the state government, in that fund. Well, I'd like, to also hear from you, to know your thoughts in the discourse. 0907 353 0044 will be the number that you should call. Please, let's stick to 0907 353 0044, or better still, get on the WhatsApp portal number and give us your WhatsApp message. Only WhatsApp message via the WhatsApp portal number, and of course we'll herald it here via this platform. Taking this call. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Edward.
Yes, good morning to you, Honorable.
Mommy, how is work today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Mr. Edward, you did a good job. I want to officially appreciate our guest. Our guest is the guest for the masses. He spoke well. In fact, I left everything, my work, everything I was listening. The man deserved to be Senate President.
Right.
he's just the best. What the Nigerians are looking for, and these are the people that we're looking for. Honestly speaking, this topic would have even made me a cold guest, because this has been my problem. You know very well. Look at insecurity. I've been saying this here. Even this your radio station, no, we can register a group apart from his own group that you mentioned. We can register a group that can monitor this. But I want to assure you that only EFCC cannot handle this problem. And the only group that will handle this problem, autonomy, they will not reside in the state. They will not to talk about the local government. You will be intimidated. You will be forced to do what they want.
Right.
I was going to where, as I said earlier, insecurity, and then what Lagos State, Abuja, Kano, Port Harcourt are congested. Accommodation problem, transportation, and all this is as a result of the failure of existence of local government. Nothing else. Why is it that state governors are fighting left and right so that this money will not go to? Yes, that is the local government. It's not why you are presiding over us now. Just think, this is painful. Think about this.
I get that.
They say they completely they complain. The removal of post subsidy has increased. Like my local government, local government was receiving less than 200 million naira. The thing has gone up to a billion. 1 billion naira to my local government. That local government completely will be changed. A person in Abuja can go back and will not pay accommodation, will be farming.
Right.
Our problem will be solved.
Okay.
We need to critically view that this is Nigeria belongs to us.
Okay.
Why is it that the election? Let me ask you question. One question. Does it mean LPP win the entire Kano State in the last election? No. The answer is no. APC also won.
All right.
They have some seats.
Yeah.
But not say the same thing. To my surprise, my own state, a reverend father is manipulating election. Not to talk about Anambra is can do a reverend father.
All right, Honorable Edwards, for want of time, understood. Well, thank you. Appreciate that from you. Well, Honorable Edwards right there, giving us thoughts, very, very, loud thoughts right there. I mean, last week I was also having a conversation with, a neighbor, and she's a civil servant, by the way. Civil servant, by the way. And she was talking to me so bitterly about having to spend 100,000 naira weekly on fuel. In fact, she said, UD, I have decided to park my car. I wouldn't have to be driving it anymore. I'm abandoning it. I'll just use public transportation this time. And she also said, well, with the way it's going to, my boss will also understand if I cut down on the days that I go to work. Maybe I'll just go 3 days or 4 days this time to work to avoid debts. That's another thing, financial constraint. And I had to reason through it, you'll see that all of these are human impacts, right? And it ranges also from fuel, price hike, and it calls for the need for local government autonomy, which many believe that if that had come to board already, or when it comes to board, we said November, that things will indeed, get better. And there will be a lot of concentration and consideration, right, for the masses at large. But let's get back with you, Comrade Gerald. Are you there? Hello, comrade?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yes, I am.
Yes, I mean, Honorable Edwards has raised some concerns right here. But just before you react to these concerns, let's also quickly take some of these messages. I mean, this one right here is coming from Tekembi from Nasarawa State, where He says, I greet your guest in the studio. I'm listening from Nasarawa State. Anytime local government in Nigeria is mentioned, many things come to mind, especially the kangaroo election governors conduct each time they're tired of caretaker chairman and, in most cases, about to leave office. INEC at the federal should be repositioned to conduct local government election to pave way for credible election at the local government level. Governors find it hard to let local government be on its own or be our own, okay? Local government administration is crucial because it is close to the people and we can easily ask them questions and hold them accountable. That's what Tekenbe says. But let's get on to also seeing what Yusuf all the way from Wuse 2 is saying. Yusuf says, good morning to UD and guest. Okay, feels good, thank you. On local government autonomy, I agree with your guest that there must be proper structure for monitoring the administration of local government. Presently, most local governments do not have proper administrative structure. Everything revolves around the office of the chairman. Most local governments have no clear organogram, as departments have been collapsed into the office of the chairman, who in most cases resides in the state capital. Now, the local government should have a guideline for expenditure. Items of expenditure must be stated clearly so as to limit discretion of chairman in spending public funds. Also, proper administration structure with a clear organogram for accountability should be put in place. This should be backed by law. However, the citizens should not leave the check to EFCC and ICPC alone. When they see something, they should say something. Have a nice day, he says. And I'll just bring this one lastly, and then, of course, we'll get your reaction and, of course, your closing, thoughts on this issue. Samuel, all the way from Kuje, saying, greetings to UD and guest in the studio. Please, I want to ask, what is the reason why the governors are afraid of allowing the local government autonomy, local government areas autonomy? Is there anything the governors are hiding and they don't want us to know? Thank you, UD and the guest. Okay, have a fulfilled day. All right, that's Samuel from Kuje. Let's have to hear you react to these questions, though.
Well, I have. Let me start with the last person that sent in a message with regards to reasons why governors do not want local government's autonomy. I have just said many of them. Right. That's one of the reasons why governors are afraid of, do not want local government autonomy, is because they will have a loss of financial control. What goes to them will no longer be like that. For example, if a state is getting with allocation, monthly allocation 13 billion, as the case may be, at the end of this direct allocation to the local government, they may not be having up to 2 billion. That is the situation, depending on the number of the local governments. If there's a state that is maybe receiving 4 billion, as the case may be, at the end of the day, it may not be having up to 500 million, depending on the number of the local government. Now, it will reduce their political influence. For example, if a truly credible election is conducted at the local government and somebody emerges that has mass-based interests, and he's working for the people, he will not be receiving orders from the governor, because not governor that is dictating, paying his allocation. He's not one that is generating his ITL. There will be local initiative, indigenous idea. It will no longer be a copy and paste. It will no longer be, I go to maybe Nasarawa, I see something good in Nasarawa, I am going to, for example, in Akwa Ibom, I'm going to do the same. It will no longer be like that. Everybody will do what works for them. Because we have diversity in culture, in ways of life, and a lot of things. Everybody will do what works for him.
Okay.
Now, patronage and the resource allocation. You see, because governors see themselves as Lord, you see a lot of patronage, especially when it comes to election period. If you are going for president, if you have not gotten attention of any governor, you will miss that state. But with local government autonomy, you may not necessarily need to bow down to pressures of the governors, where they will dictate how political parties run their affairs. You understand? It will reduce policy discrepancies that you see. You see policies from a source that we have often seen in the states, where they will say one thing today, they will change it tomorrow, and in the middle of it, you see a lot of excuses and blame games. It will reduce it. Now there will be more accountability and transparency. For example, if for the examples I've given, for example, real estate is getting 4 billion, and at the end of the day, the state is getting around 500 million after local government must have gotten their own shares. Accountability will be much more easier to trace. Okay. If you say you are paying, who you are paying, because the staff that state will be paying will be reduced, will be channeled to the local government. It's no longer a situation whereby you claim both ghost workers and what have you that you are paying them. It will give room to accountability and transparency. Yeah. It will also help economic development, and these are some of the things they are afraid of.
Let me put a point here. Let me put a point here.
Can raise one giant project, elephant project, that will take them 8 years to finish. You understand? The power centralization, it also affects. So say what you want to say.
All right. Well, anyways, it was about getting, to take a call at the point in time. But yes, you've been trying to put a call through. 0907-353-0044 would be that number. Giving it to you this time slowly. 0907-353-0044. Taking this call. Hello and good morning. That's a miss. And remember, you can as well get onto the WhatsApp portal should you, find it difficult to connect to the studio. And that will be via 0909-705-4450 with the WhatsApp portal number. All we expect is your WhatsApp message, and we will herald it, right here. You can as well use the social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Drop a message, leave a comment, and the comment will also be heralded right here as we engage the discourse. I mean, Comrade Gerald, there's no news anymore that direct payment, right, will enable local governments to manage resources effectively. It will promote development. It will reduce poverty. In fact, from the social context, local government autonomy will increase accountability and show some levels of transparency, empower citizens to demand better services. But there is also the place of the will. I mean, there was a talk about everything not being centered on the chairman themselves. I mean, Yusuf made that statement trying to say that, look, everything should not be centered on the chairman themselves, that every other facet or aspect of local government governance should also be put in place to ensure checks and balances, that these are the things that can be done to ensuring that the chairman themselves are not also pawns, to any state governor, in any way. What do you also think in that light? Do you agree with that?
That is what I'm saying. It will reduce political influence and power centralization.
Okay.
If we have a true autonomy, as we are making effort towards it, councillors that manages each ward, we put check and balances on the executive chairman of the local government. You understand?
Right.
What it really does is that if chairman try to err, or go in the wrong direction, they will be there to correct. If chairman trying to influence them, there will be state assembly to help ginger the councillors. And what that will do is that it will strengthen even the state assemblies that are appendages to the governors. Because by the time they see that councillors are standing up to the local government chairman in ensuring accountability and transparency, they too will sit up. But why they are being caged? Because everything is centered on governor.
All right, comrade, let me take this call now. Hello and good morning.
Good morning, Odua.
Yeah, good morning to you, Elder Onaja.
Good morning, my comrade.
Right. All right, Elder, let's hear from you.
Okay, you see, the autonomy of local government can never work without National Assembly to amend the local government election. You see, all the states conduct elections. The same party ruling in the state, the same party wins. The same party wins. If a councillor in the local government, the other party can never get it. Unless if they leave INEC to go to state and conduct election. If not so, the autonomy for local government is in vain because governor will bring young people and put them there. And then governor will control the resources. In the book, you tell you say directly allocation to the local government. You take it in the back. So if you are not loyal to governor, he will remove you. So most of it, check all the states now where they do election. All of them, governor put them there from the party, and then they win. And then the state tenants have to be scrapped because governor upon them, it can't buy the figure where it feed you. So unless the amount the law is not to autonomy of local government, it can't work. Thank you very much.
Okay, Elder. All right, thank you. Anyways, Elder, you said it just cannot work no matter how hard you try. Yes, please.
In addendum to what Elder have just said, many of these local government chairmen and the councillors that we are just being inaugurated, we are already meant to sign some kind of resignation letters without date. So that by the time they tell you what to do and you are refusing to do it, they will use kangaroo way, with toggery and what have you to remove you there. And by the time others that are trying to sit up, see that their colleagues have been removed and there's no blink of eye, they will fall into the wings and caprices of the governor or whoever that is putting them there. So I think all the local government elections done so far, we should find a way to cancel it and do a fresh one.
Okay. All right.
Okay. This is where we need National Assembly to sit up, to come and do intervention in this area, in this regard.
Okay.
All local government elections conducted by over 28 states so far should be cancelled. They should enact a law that allow an independent National Electoral Commission. I learned that we are trying to create another organization that will manage local. I don't think that is what we need now. They should allow existing one because that would be part of the cutting cost we are talking about.
Okay.
It will be creating another way of siphoning money. They should call independent national INEC to conduct this election. They have the data of the 704 local governments. They have the number of persons registered in each ward and polling unit. They should be the one to conduct. And believe me, you'll be surprised that those governors that are claiming that they're in charge of the local government, you'll be surprised that most of them, their parties will not even score up to 30% of what they are claiming.
All right, comrade.
And it will strengthen the local government to effectively impact and do implementation of whatever they have in mind, good ideas they have in mind. But as it stands now, is a partial autonomy that we are seeing today.
Well, we'll still see your calls coming through, but we cannot take any at this point. It's also good to inform that South Africa also local governments receive 43% of national revenue. In Ghana, local governments receive 33% of national revenue. In Kenya, local governments receive 30% of national revenue. And this only proves that there could be, if we got it rightly, that there would be very well maintenance of the society as we know it, the communities as we know it, infrastructurally, in terms of development and human capacity, should the local governments indeed find bearing in this country. But I want to say a big thank you to you, Comrade Gerald Okachi. You are a human rights activist, public affairs commentator, and social analyst. Thank you for adding your voice in the discourse this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Appreciate you. And yes, to each and every one of you out there, thank you for also aligning your voice. Honorable Edwards says 62% of former president are former governors, including our president now. Why is it that our governors are against local government chairmen becoming governors of various states? National Assembly should amend the Constitution immediately. Well, it's just also good to put it out there that the views expressed views from the callers, but not influenced by Eagles FM Abuja. Well, tomorrow is yet another day and another time, same station. We would go conversational on Eagles Outlook. But meanwhile, my name is Udwak Daniel, and I'm saying have a lovely day.
Eagles 102.